Hello, my name is Lodi Seifer. I'm one of the co-directors of the Boulder County Climate Justice Hive, and I thought a Loom video would be a good way to introduce you to the Hive. So we can start here. The Hive is connecting for collective impact for climate justice in Boulder County. This document walks you through our vision, our mission, the problem, the dire climate crisis we're all facing, the extractive and exploitive systems that got us here, the same systems that underlie social injustice, and how disconnected and siloed efforts aren't enough for the radical systems change needed. And that brings us to the Hive's role in the solutions weaving a movement. The Hive collects and shares up-to-date information about who's doing what and where, cross-pollinating neighborhoods, communities, and sectors in Boulder County by weaving connections from grassroots to grass tops and across the nonprofit, which includes little and big organizations, academia, faith-based philanthropy, government, and business worlds. The Hive brings together these independent efforts into collective vision and coordinated action in support of a just transition. Moving from an extractive economy to a regenerative economy and all that entails, the just transition comes out of the labor movement, frontline communities and leaders, along with movement generation and the Climate Justice Alliance, and provides a framework for direction. The Hive plays a part in the just transition by supporting stronger coordination and collaboration within each sector and across them. The Hive is the result of a collaboration between Boulder.Earth and a group at Naropa University's Joanna Macy Center that came together in 2019 to support the City of Boulder's Climate Mobilization Action Plan. This Naropa group, made up of alumnus, faculty, staff, and students, hosted a series of 3 community resilience conversations in 2020 and 2021, with people from over 40 community organizations working with issues ranging from homelessness, housing, mutual aid, to Indigenous rights, racial justice, climate change, and regenerative agriculture. 2 of the top results from what people shared was that 1, the community wanted to center equity, and 2, they liked what they saw from collaboration and wanted more of it. The Naropa group responded with the idea of a collaboration hub, and when we asked what the people who attended these conversations thought of the idea, several people suggested we reach out to Boulder.Earth. And what a great idea that was. Boulder.Earth itself came from years of community collaboration with C3 Boulder, the Climate Culture Collaborative, which then connected with web developers to become Boulder.Earth, helping the community know what organizations exist, what events are going on, and what actions to take. When the Naropa group reached out to Boulder.Earth, it turned out they were ripe for collaboration. So, the Boulder County Climate Justice Hive was born about 1.5 years ago and is now a group of about 12 people who are engaged with weaving community connections to find out who is doing what and where around climate justice in Boulder County. Gathering all these efforts together, the Hive looks to see how we can better coordinate everything that's going on. You should really check out the Boulder County Climate Justice event calendar if you don't know about it already. So many things happening locally here. Boulder.Earth originally centered the city of Boulder. However, the Hive decided to focus on the whole of Boulder County from the start in an effort to be responsive to community calls for equity, given the greater racial and economic diversity of the county. Our decision to focus on the whole county also came from following the lead of the Climate Justice Collaborative of Boulder County. The Climate Justice Collaborative, or CJC, holds an important role in Boulder County and is developing frontline community-led recommendations for 2030 climate justice benchmarks. The Hive is committed to amplifying CJC leadership throughout the other climate-oriented organizations and groups in the county. Last year, through a contract with the City of Boulder, the Hive began to develop an online mapping tool centered around the CJC. This is our beta tool from that time. One of the important pieces we found out was that of the roughly 75 allies that the CJC identified, only 10 of them overlapped with the existing 130 organizations in the original Boulder.Earth directory. It's a clear demonstration that when climate justice is centered, it changes the whole conversation, as well as who is part of it. Since developing the beta tool, we've learned a lot about what works and what doesn't, and where to go from here. We see the limitations of tech and the critical importance of person-to-person relationships to go alongside. For this next phase, we're looking to illustrate the data we've been collecting about who is doing what and where in the different climate justice arenas of Boulder County. We currently have the capacity to view this data in different ways on the back end, and we'd like to share these community connections and show this social ecosystem map on an easy to navigate, not like this, interactive online platform in English and Spanish. We don't have the pretty front end pieces yet, but we have some possibilities. One of our CU Invest interns last year made this climate justice map of CU, which could give you an idea of how information can be displayed in a more user-friendly way. This sort of view could be made for other projects, like the City of Boulder's Cool Boulder campaign, or Brújula Comunitaria's Latinx Parents Call for Better Food for Students in the St. Vrain Valley School District. We'd also like to show more dimensionality, though, in order to illustrate formal and informal and potentially collaborative networks. Who is doing what and where around climate justice? How are they going about it? When is this happening? Meaning, what are the collective timelines and benchmarks for community organizing? And why are we organizing for climate justice in the first place? This is still in the early stages, but just to give you a sense, through such a tool, we'd be able to coordinate currently siloed efforts. And if we're really good, we'll encourage collaboration on creating the just and regenerative, equitable future we long for. The plan is to have a minimal viable product, an MVP, in the next few months, which can continue to be shaped by feedback with our community partners. We're using agile sprint cycles to deliver incremental, interactive, usable online tools that integrate evolving community organizer priorities. We're calling the MVP a HIFA, because that's a baby mycelium, and this tool is intended to grow up to be a mycelial network connecting and coordinating climate justice efforts in Boulder County. This online platform is being prototyped in Boulder County with plans to scale and replicate it to benefit other communities. This tool will make it easier for local governments, nonprofits, ultimately green business sector too, to share their programs and services, locate partners, and to magnetize community engagement around specific projects, particularly frontline-led community projects. We are all in this together. There is no planet B. Culture impacts do not stop at city borders. Boulder County communities are vulnerable and interconnected. For climate action to be successful, collaboration is critical. Equity, resilience, and well-being on a county-wide level for all is not something any entity can achieve alone. Government, nonprofit organizations, businesses, residents all have a role to play. The work of the Hive is not to just create maps of organizations or maintain a website of events and actions, but to use technology and in-person organizing to engage and bring people together around what kind of community we want to co-create. We would love to partner with you. Thank you so much for your time and attention. It is a gift. So glad to be in this with you.